أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا، اللهم زدنا علما وارزقنا فهما يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. After we praise the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, peace and blessings unto our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, his family, his friends, and all those who follow him. My respected brothers and sisters, yes, last week we left on a very powerful note, and we see the greatness of that sujood that Allah has blessed us with to be able to make it. And remember, that person that came into the masjid, Ibn Qais, and he saw somebody was making sujood, but he prolonged his sujood and did a lot. And of course he wanted to know, why are you making sujood such a lot? And this is what we said last week. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, where he replied to them, Habibi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam told me, my beloved Muhammad salawatullahi alayhi said, Innaka ma sajadta lillahi sajida. Indeed, verily, you do not make a sajida for Allah illa rafa'aka Allahu biya daraja, except Allah raise your status by one grade. Ya Rab. Just imagine that when you make that sajida, Allah raise you. Allah raise your status by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by doing that, you are close to Allah subhanahu. That alone in itself is a ni'mah of status to have, to be able to be in that sujood, or to do that sujood and be able to be in that sujood because you are the closest to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As you all know, the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said, أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَهُوَ سَاجِدٌ. The closest a slave can come to Allah is while he's in sujood. Subhanaka ya Rab. So, my beloved brothers and sisters, not only does Allah raise your status, but just to understand, when you are in sujood, that's the closest you can come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on top of that, وَحَتَّ أَنْكَ بِهَا خَطِيئًا. And on top of that, he said to Ibn Qais, what the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, with that even, when you make sujood, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wipe out a sin for you. Subhanallah. He wipes out your sins for you. Now, like I've said last week, look at that greatness of sujood and how great it is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how blessed we are. And I ask you, how many sujoods do you do a day? Let me go beyond that. How many sujood that you made for your entire life? Or just think of that ni'mah. That every time you do a sujood, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise your status. Number two, for every sujood you have made, He forgive a sin. Now in salah, while we're busy making that salah for the day, how many sujood that you have made or going to make, you multiply it. And just imagine that every time Allah forgive a sin for you. Now, when I look at that, then indeed, it's a great ni'mah to be able to make sujood? Did Allah afford you to make sujood? Subhanaka ya Rab. When Ibn Qais heard this, and he asked this person, Man anta? Who are you? Subhanallah. Who was it, my beloved brothers and sisters? One of the great Sahabis. And I'm certainly sure you all have heard his name already. It is Abu Dharr al-Ghafari. Subhanallah. That is Abu Dharr al-Ghafari radiallahu anhu narrates to us, or to this person, Ibn Qais, and to all of us, how Islam look and how the Nabi has educated us. What the sujood is all about, apart from all other rituals. I mean, the rituals that we worship Allah. Now, just have this in mind. You make sujood, that is the closest you can come, according to Nabi Muhammad SAW, to Allah. And when you make it, Allah raise your status. And when you made it, Allah forgives a sin from you. Subhanaka ya Rab. Are we not fortunate? Subhanallah. Therefore, I quote when the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, speaking about a sin will be forgiven. He says, إِنَّ الْعَبْدِ إِذَا قَامَ يُصَلِّي. He said, when a slave gets up to make salah, his sins will be placed, as hadith will say, فَوُضِعَ عَلَى رَأْسِهِ أو سائقه or atiqihi, sorry. His sins will be placed on his head or on his shoulders. فَكُلَّمَا رَكَعَ أَوْ سَجَدَ. Every time he makes a ruku and a sujood, خَطَّ عَنْهُ. Allah wipe out a sin for him. The Nabi salawatullahi alayhi confirms that to us. Abu Dharr al-Ghafari confirms that to us. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has confirmed it. So in other words, the sins falls away. Tasaqata anhu. It falls away. Now just imagine, when you come from sujood, knowingly that now that I have made sujood, a sin of mine will be forgiven. Ya Rab. Therefore also, the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi have said, إِذَا أَرَدْتَ أَن يَحْشُرَكَ اللَّهُ مَعِي. If you want that Allah must raise you, of course, the day of Qiyamah with me, then what must we do? فَأَطِلُ السُّجُودِ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ اللَّهِ الْوَاحِدِ الْقَهَّارِ. Then prolong a little bit your sujood between the hands of the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that you can be raised with me. And you know, this reminds me of one great Sahabi also, by the name of Rabi' ibn Ka'b. And I want us also to listen to the greatness again of when Allah afford us this opportunity to be able to make sujood. What is the indication and what is the reward of that? He was one day with the Nabi Muhammad salawatullahi alayhi, the Sahabi Rabi' ibn Ka'b. And the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi said to him, Is'al ma shi'ta. Ask me whatever your heart desire. Subhanallah. Imagine. The Nabi salawatullahi alayhi asked the Sahabi, or he asked us, ask me what do you desire, whatever you want. I'm certainly sure some of us may ask for money, or some of us may ask for a position in life or the pleasure of this world. But what did Rabi' ibn Ka'b said to the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi? I want us to listen, to let us understand how fortunate we are. The Nabi salawatullah, he said to the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi, Uridu murafaqataka fil jannah. I would like to be in your company the day of, in Jannah, sorry. I would like to be in your company in Jannah. Subhanallah. Can you imagine? So what did the Nabi salawatullahi alayhi salam said to him? And he said, according to Rabi' ibn Ka'b, فَقُلْ لَهَذَا هُوَ ذَاكَ. Don't you want anything else? Is there anything else besides that? In other words, what is Jannah? Yes, but what is there anything else that you want that I can ask Allah for perhaps, or something like that? What did Rabi' ibn Ka'b said to him? If Allah spares us, we'll continue next week, inshallah. May Allah forgive us, forgive our parents, those it has passed on. May Allah grant them and all of us Jannatul Firdaus, and may Allah make it easy for all the Muslims wherever they find themselves. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us all that we are able to give the sujood its haqq, insha'Allah. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.